What's going on, everyone? I'm Nick, and welcome to the ultimate guide for taking your 3D printing skills to the next level using Midjourney. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, this tutorial is packed with everything you need to know about harnessing the power of AI to create stunning, print-ready designs. Today, we're diving into Midjourney's new web interface, exploring image editing features, and breaking down how to craft the perfect prompts for your projects. We'll also walk you through using prompt templates that are tailor-made for 3D printing. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with all the tools you need to generate incredible designs. Grab a cold one because this video is packed to the brim, no fluff included, and edited to get you up to speed on this amazing technology. Let's get right to it. The first thing you need to do is sign up for a Midjourney account. You can either use a Google account or a Discord account. Once your account is set up, you'll be sent to the main Explore page. This is where you can find inspiration from other Midjourney users or search for something specific. If you hover over an image, you'll get the creator's username, which you can click on to see other images they've created. This portrait icon here can be used to create an image prompt. If you click on it, it will go into your prompt creation collection here at the top. These can be used to combine multiple images to create something new. You can also click and drag the image up to the prompt bar to add it as well. The type font icon will copy and paste the particular image prompt right into your prompt generator bar. This magnifying glass icon will find the images that are similar to the one you clicked on. This can be useful if you find something close to what you like. You can click on that image and grab similar images to use later. The heart icon is a great way to start collecting your favorites. I would suggest liking any images that you want to keep for later. You can then go through your list of images when you want to create something and pull those into your prompt to generate something new. The way you find your liked images is by using this likes button right here. Over time, your collection will grow and it can be one of your most useful features. One thing I wish Midjourney offered is the ability to organize our liked images, but maybe that's something we'll see in the future. You also have the ability to sort lists of images here, but I think that's self-explanatory. The random feature is nice. I like to turn that on and you can literally scroll through hours collecting tons of cool images. Let's go ahead and move under the Create tab. Creating your first image is simple. You can just use this bar right here at the top. For simplicity, I'll just type in something random like a dachshund puppy, black and white, SVG style, simple design. All of your generated images will show up under the Create tab. Using the up key on the keyboard will scroll through your previous prompts. That's a huge help when working on the perfect prompt. You can also adjust your image settings by clicking this filter icon here, and a menu will pop down. The Organize tab will also display all of your images, but it gives you the ability to organize them. This Organize button will open and close the menu right below it. Directly under that is where you can create folders. This is something I have been waiting for a long time. Just under the folders is the filter option. This will allow you to, of course, filter out all the images by rating, type, size, and more. Once your collections start to grow, this will become much more useful for you. Lastly in the menu is the feature to display specific images based on their layout and size. When organizing your images into folders, you can either use the Shift key on the keyboard to select multiple images, or click and drag a box around a group of images. Once you have your images selected, you'll see a small menu pop up here on the bottom. It shows you the amount of images selected, gives you the ability to download them, and you can use the More button to like, unlike, hide, unhide, and add them to a folder. You can also click and drag the images into a folder here on the right as well. When creating a folder, there's also a cool feature called Smart Folders. This will allow you to set up a folder name and a single keyword or multiple keywords to use. This will automatically add those specific images to the folder when the keyword is used in your prompt. Click on Create Folder, give it a name, and select the Smart Folder checkbox. A new field will pop up. Add your specific keywords here and your images will autofill into that folder. This is a great feature. The chat feature works kind of like a social media platform for Midjourney. You can talk with other Midjourney users, get help, and collaborate on prompt creation. I have learned quite a bit just quickly scanning through the chat and finding cool tips here and there. The Tasks section is used for personalization of your Midjourney account. Without personalization, the algorithm will fill in missing information from your prompts. The way you can begin to get more personalized results of what you like is by completing tasks. This will allow you to earn more fast hours or image generation time. Once you complete enough of the image ranking, you will gain access to the personalization feature where you can enable it under the main settings, which we will be exploring next. Under this slider button here, you will see all the main settings. Under the image size section, this is where you can choose an aspect ratio. Since we're generating images for our printers, a 1:1 is going to be a great option. It will keep everything inside a square image. The Stylize option is interesting because we're trying to keep our designs pretty simple, but we can also use the Stylize option to bump up the detail a little if needed. I'm going to reuse the previous prompt to test the stylize option from 0 to 1000. As you can see, for every iteration, the detail becomes more apparent. The weird parameter in Midjourney controls how unusual or unique an image is compared to the typical Midjourney outputs. Increasing the weirdness value will make the generated images diverge more from the common styles and themes, resulting in a more abstract, creative, and unexpected result. It's useful if you're aiming for something that breaks away from the norm and explores more unconventional results. Lower values keeps the output closer to Midjourney's default aesthetics. Here's a weirdness test from 600 to 3000. Next is the variety feature. The variety parameter, or chaos as you use it in your prompt, influences how different the image grids are generated. High chaos values will produce more unusual and unexpected results and compositions. Lower chaos values have a more reliable, repeatable result. This feature is perfect for when you're not really sure what you're looking for, but you have a basic idea. Take a look at the same prompt iteration from 20 to 100. Stylize influences how much Midjourney's signature artistic style is applied to the image. Weirdness adjusts how unconventional or unique the image appears compared to the typical Midjourney outputs. And chaos affects how varied the initial grid of images is, introducing more diversity between them. Next, let's talk about the mode feature. Standard mode applies Midjourney's default aesthetic and style, making it easier to produce visually appealing images without much customization. It fine-tunes the prompt to fit its artistic tendencies. Raw mode, on the other hand, provides a more neutral and less stylized result. This mode processes the prompt more literally, giving you more control over how the image turns out without adding as much of Midjourney's typical artistic influence. Here are samples of both modes on our prompt. There isn't a huge difference, but that's okay because our prompt is very basic anyways. I tend to get less detail, which is what we want when 3D printing these objects. When it comes to generating SVG one-color images, it's just better. For the version selection option, I would just leave it on the newest version, 6.1. For the personalize feature, I went over this earlier on how to get the personalize feature enabled. Now there's two speeds in Midjourney. The fast option is the default and usually takes about 30 seconds to a minute to generate your images. The turbo option will allow you to generate your images up to 4 times faster, but it will eat into your monthly minutes twice as quickly. So if money is no option, then turbo it is. Midjourney's image reference prompting is one of the coolest features. I'm a very visual learner, and being able to grab a few images of what I like and mesh them together is just completely amazing to me. I remember back when I was younger, I would literally use this kind of referencing. If only I could take this and mesh them together. It's just crazy to me that we now have this kind of technology at our fingers. It's way more exciting to visually use multiple images and mesh them together into something new. To get started, let's drag an image up into the prompt bar. From there, you can select the type of reference you want to use. First, you have character reference, which will use the character in the image. Next is a style reference, and Midjourney will pull that image style to use in your new image generation. Last is the use image prompt, which uses the image as a, you guessed it, reference. Now you can also use multiple references by holding down the Shift key and selecting multiple options. Let's go ahead and test out the use image prompt reference so that we can understand how it works. Midjourney defaults to use as image prompt option. Next, I will add the word dinosaur into the prompt area. Since this tutorial is specifically for 3D printing, we need to give Midjourney some direction. Let's include some context in our prompt to keep the same style, or else Midjourney will start to generate realistic images instead. Here's the prompt. Dinosaur, black and white, SVG style, simple design. This should be interesting. And look, we get the cutest freaking dinosaur ever. It almost looks like the dragon from Neverending Story. Alright, let's go ahead and make some adjustments using image parameters. Now these parameters are always going to be at the end of the prompt and always start with a hyphen or a dash, whatever you want to call it. Let's adjust how much influence the image has on the generation. For this, we will use the image weight parameter. All we have to do is include the hyphen, then IW, space, and then the number between 0 and 3. I will start with 3 and go backwards so that we can see the generated images going from a dog to a dinosaur. Remember, we will use the dachshund puppy image as our reference. We can see our dachshund slowly morph into a dinosaur until we really can't see any reference of the dachshund. Next, let's test out the style reference using the same dachshund image and dinosaur prompt. by selecting the style reference option. Midjourney takes the style of the dachshund image and creates a dinosaur with that style. Just as we did with image weight, we can apply a style weight as well, using the --SW and a number between 0 and 1000. Remember, pushing up on the keyboard will bring up your old prompts. You can just do a quick edit and submit your new prompt. Here are the results. One of my favorite features out of the three is the character reference. This allows you to continue to generate images and keep your character. Since we're using a black and white SVG style image, it won't get the results that we need. Just know that the --CW parameter exists and is used for adding a specific character into different scenes. I did a few tests with it using the following prompt and it did an okay job. Now let's have a little fun and do an experiment by using a non-character as our character and see what happens. For this, I generated a dog bone, dropped it in as a character, and generated another dachshund puppy image. Here are the results. Let's go ahead and generate some new images all at once. For our prompt, I will continue to use the same basic prompt and we will include a feature called Permutations. The way we do that is we add an opening curly bracket followed by each concept design separated by a comma and a closing curly bracket. The final prompt looks just like this. Once you hit enter, it will run our main prompt alongside each of those permutations. I would like to mention that if you get an error when running your permutation, try limiting the amount of permutations to 4 and see if that works. Let's go ahead and get into the editing of your images in Midjourney. The very subtle option makes slight changes to the images without drastically altering the original concept. The very strong introduces more noticeable changes, giving you a more distinct variation from the original. Upscale subtle enhances the resolution and detail of the image while keeping the original look. Upscale creative boosts the resolution but adds a creative flair, changing some artistic aspects to make it more unique. When I generate something that I really like, I love to run a variation action on it. The strong option will sometimes give me something that I absolutely love. I did a comparison on both subtle and strong, and here are the results. With the upscale option, I have not seen much differences in my results, and I believe it is because of the low amount of detail in our images. The upscale creative option is useful for full resolution images, though that is outside the scope of this video. Rerun does exactly as you would expect. It just reruns the exact prompt and gives you more options to choose from. The editor is one of my most favorite tools of Midjourney. It is similar to editing images just as we did in our first OpenAI video tutorial. In the editor, you can scale your image generation down to give you more room for more objects if you want. You can also drag these bars on the sides, top, and bottom to scale your image down or up in the direction. If you want to change the aspect ratio of your image, you can do that here. Next is my favorite part. If you watch my OpenAI video, we use the brush tool similar to this. Basically what you do is highlight the area you want to make a change to. Let's go ahead and add a top hat. So I sketch out a little spot on the top of the puppy's head and add top hat to the prompt. Hit submit and it will rerun the prompt. Here are the results of the puppy with the top hat on. Under the Use section, you can select each option and it will use the image as a prompt, style reference, or pull the entire prompt into the prompt bar. The More Options button allows you to hide and show additional features. You can add in remix, pan, and zoom. These features I never used for black and white SVG files, but you're welcome to experiment if you like. Alright, I wanted to quickly touch on style references. Even though the main course for this video is about utilizing Midjourney for 3D printing, I still thought I would quickly touch on style references. I have come across some styles that add an artistic flair to our black and white designs. Rather than using an image reference, Midjourney has a feature what is called style reference seeds. You can use a style seed with your prompt to get a new creative result. The way you do this is to include a --sref and a number between 0 and 4 billion. I just love to try out random things, so I'll show you something cool. If you take our original prompt, then add a --sref, and instead of adding a seed number, we use the word random. Run that prompt and it will randomly pick a style seed. And here are the results of that random seed. Now you can take it one step further and also add a repeat 4, and it will rerun that same prompt 4 times. Most of the time you won't get anything that can be used for 3D printing, but I've had a few instances that gave me some very stylish results. Now if you happen to find a style that could work with your project, you can now reuse that style reference over and over and get the same results. We can then use the style with permutations and the prompt would look like this. Unfortunately, we can't really use any of these for this project, but I think you get the idea. Hopefully it sparks some creative ideas for your projects. There are a ton of websites that offer style reference libraries, and here's one called midlibrary.io. I'll make sure to include some of these in the description below. Let's go ahead and finish out this section of the tutorial with some prompting parameters. One feature that I've been experimenting with are patterns. These are especially useful for our 3D printing projects. If we can create a seamless pattern, we can take something that we really like and print them over and over, giving us a wall texture. The way we do this in Midjourney is by using a tile parameter. Let's go back to our original prompt and make some adjustments. I'll swap out Dachshund Puppy with geometric shapes, or even something like random rocks. Then I'll add the -- tile at the end. Here's our new prompt. And here are the results of that prompt. Let's go ahead and download it and check it against a pattern checker. I like to use patternchecker.com. Patternchecker.com is great because it displays your pattern on the entire background of the website so you can see it. I really hope that your mind is going wild right now. There are literally unlimited possibilities. The next thing that I would like to talk about is the no parameter. You can use this at the end of your prompt with a -- no and tell Midjourney what you don't want in your image generation. Let's go back to the image of our Dachshund puppy wearing a top hat. I'm going to tell Midjourney to not have the puppy sitting by adding no sitting and see what we get. And here are the results of that prompt. Now let's take it one step further. Let's go ahead and pull our Dachshund sitting with a top hat. Now let's use it as a character reference. This should yield the same results but with a Dachshund wearing a top hat and not sitting. And here are the results. So one Dachshund wearing a top hat out of the 4 isn't that bad, I guess. Let's do a little bit of 3D prompting education. For creating original and unique SVG style illustrations, try adding descriptive adjectives to capture the essence of your subject. Here is a curated list of adjectives you can experiment with to enhance your designs. Composition helps you control how elements in your image are arranged. For example, if you want a balanced image, you can use the word symmetrical. Or if you want something more creative, asymmetrical. If you want the items close together or spread apart, use phrases like minimal spacing or wide spacing. And lastly, using framed can give you a sense of border around your main subject. Style keywords help shape the look and feel of your image. You can guide the AI to follow a specific art style or design trend. For example, adding flat design will create clean, simple graphics, while vintage gives you an old-fashioned look. You can also mention modern styles like minimalistic or clean, uncluttered designs, or vector art for sharp, scalable illustrations. These style keywords tell the AI how to approach your design, giving you more control over the final result. Outline style refers to the thickness and the type of border around the elements of your SVG graphic. You can use this to control the emphasis and clarity of your design. For example, thin outline can provide a more delicate, subtle look, often used for intricate, detailed designs or minimalistic styles. It adds a gentle border without overpowering the image. Bold outline gives a stronger, more defined edge, making the elements stand out more clearly. This style is more ideal for 3D printing projects. The elements in your Midjourney prompts play a crucial role in determining the final design's outcome. Whether it's the color choices, design complexity, or style format, each of these aspects shapes how the design looks, how detailed it is, and how well it can be printed. Choosing black and white or monochrome black will enhance the contrast and visibility. Using simple or simplified keywords in your prompt keeps things clean and ensures your prints are easy to process. Other elements like SVG style or flat vector make sure your designs are scalable and crisp, ideal for 3D printing. Here are some samples of really basic prompts that do work. Just take a look at these and use the different elements. Dog, black and white, SVG style, simple design. Dog, monochrome black, SVG style, in the style of black outline graphic, flat vector, white background, simple design. Solid black silhouette, dog, in the style of monochrome, line art, flat design, white background, simplified. By introducing specific elements, you'll generate designs that are optimized for both aesthetics and functionality in your 3D prints. Now let's have some fun and dive into some specific prompt templates and explore what they can generate. These prompts are specifically designed to help you create various types of prints, from intricate mandalas to bold geometric shapes and functional designs. Each prompt can guide the creation of clean, bold SVG files perfect for 3D printing, and will inspire you to bring new designs to life. The following prompt creates simple mandala designs with repeating geometric patterns like triangles and hexagons. The focus is on circular symmetry with clean, bold outlines and minimalistic black and white color scheme. Ideal for creating balanced, visually pleasing 3D prints with low detail for easy processing. The next prompt generates pirate coin designs inspired by historical currency, featuring bold skulls, crossbones, and nautical symbols. The designs are clean and symmetrical. The focus is on simple vintage style patterns, making them perfect for detailed 3D prints with a classic pirate theme. Next, we'll generate coaster designs that are geometric and sharp, focusing on hexagons and circular shapes with thick borders. The minimalist vector style makes these perfect for practical, modern 3D printed coasters. Next is one of my favorites and generates mechanical gear designs with simple black and white layouts. The gears are functional and minimalist, making them ideal for 3D printing mechanical parts or aesthetic decorations that focus on clean design. The next prompt generates abstract geometric wall art with overlapping shapes and thick, bold borders. The minimalist black and white designs are perfect for creating striking 3D printed wall art with a modern, clean aesthetic. If you're looking for something that isn't perfectly round, this organic geometric shapes prompt blends fluid, abstract forms with symmetry. The designs feature smooth curves and irregular polygons. These are ideal for 3D prints that need an organic, flowing feel. I wanted to ensure I included a bonus prompt that generates simplistic designs. I've used it to create great, simple designs for almost anything I can imagine, perfect for 3D printing. Here's that prompt along with a few samples. By using simple keywords like castle, monkey, lion face, and rocket, you can produce various designs. You can also get many different variations by adding additional context, such as dancing monkey or a roaring lion. Just make sure you keep that in mind. Now, experimenting is one of my favorite things about AI art. You can simply take any of the prompts and tell Midjourney to tile it for you. Here are some of the tile patterns that I got. And that wraps up the first part of our complete Midjourney for 3D printing tutorial. And I'm super glad that you made it this far. We've covered a lot of ground, from exploring the new web interface features like image editing to diving into prompt education and templates specifically designed for 3D printing. By now, you should have a solid understanding of how to leverage Midjourney to create some truly unique designs. But we're just getting started. In this next section, we'll take the AI-generated image you created and convert it into an SVG file using Inkscape. Then we'll bring it into Bambu Studio, make some final adjustments, and get it ready for 3D printing. So stick around, things are about to get even more exciting as we bring your creations to life. The next thing that we need to do is choose an image that we will convert to SVG. I'm going to pick one of the last DocSend images that we generated for my project. All you have to do is click on the image and use this download icon here. Save it to your hard drive and you can move on to converting to an SVG. Now in our last video, I walked you through using a web conversion tool called vTracer, and to be honest, it does a pretty good job. I'll include that website URL on the screen. But if you're looking for something that gives you a little more control, then Inkscape is perfect and it's free. First, download the software from inkscape.org and install it. Once you have Inkscape launched, you will see a screen like this. Since Midjourney saves all your downloaded files as a PNG file, all we have to do is go to File, then Open, and locate your image. This is a much better process than OpenAI. This small window will open, just leave all the settings at default and click OK. Next, go up to Path, then Trace Bitmap. That will open up the tracer tools on the right. If you haven't already, click and drag on these three buttons and expand your view. If you don't see your image over here under the preview, then make sure you click on it to load it into the tracer tool. In the last tutorial, we adjusted the threshold, speckles, smooth corners, and optimize slider, but I found a trick. If you use this drop-down menu under the detection mode and select Auto Trace, that should give you the best results. There's a few different options under here and I would explore them as well. I've been getting some great results with the Auto Trace, so I'm just going to stick with that. Once you're done, just hit Apply. It won't look like anything happened, but if you click and drag your image, you will see it now has no white background. Just click on the original image and press Delete on the keyboard. Now recenter your traced image. Next, let's save it as an SVG file. Go up to File and Save As. Now you're ready to move on to the next step and import your design into Bambu Studio. Once you have Bambu Studio open, you can import your SVG file. Click on this box icon right here, locate your SVG file on your computer, then click Open. Now before we get started, I wanted to quickly talk about a few things. In my last AI to 3D video, there were a few viewers that misunderstood the entire goal. I understand that we're creating very simple flat objects here. Yes, for the most part, they are not a tangible product that you could sell or do much with. It is up to you to use your imagination to take this method and go 1, 2, or 3 steps further. That is why I decided to take this project to the next level. I will use our simple AI generated design to turn it into a $20 to $30 product that you can sell on Etsy, eBay, or even Amazon. I feel that project falls outside of the scope of this tutorial, so I'll be working on the release directly after this video. I already have a ton of ideas and I think it'll be a great follow-up video. So for now, let's go ahead and move forward because there's a few things that I would like to teach you. Now, depending on how large your image is, you may need to resize it. Mine is obviously sitting outside of the build plate and too large. Once you have it resized and the way you like it, let's double check for fragment parts. The way we do that is by switching from global to objects. When viewing our model in objects mode, I can only see one object in the list. That tells me we didn't have any additional fragments. If you see multiple objects in the list, you can remove them by selecting them individually and hitting delete on the keyboard. Great, now that we have our first part cleaned up, let's go ahead and break up our image into multiple objects. First, make sure you have the object selected, then click on this button here called Split to Parts. Now what that does is takes all the shapes and breaks them into individual objects. You can now see that we have a ton of new objects added to our plate. Let's inspect them individually and remove them. Some of these will be super tiny, so be sure to inspect every object one at a time. I'm going to remove all the small fragments and rename all the objects that I plan to keep. Once that is done, you still may have some objects with this red triangle. The way you fix those is by right-clicking on the object and selecting Fix Model. The slicer will fix any issues automatically. Alright, so now we are left with our main object, our left eye, right eye, and a detail object. Let's go ahead and click on the main object and move it to the side. This will show you what will print separately from your main object. So with my object, I'm fine with removing the detail next to the ear right here. But the eyes are a little scary without the detail in them. So for now, I will undo with Ctrl Z. Select that detail object and remove it by hitting delete on the keyboard. We now have a choice. We can print the eyes separately and may be fine depending on how we plan to use the object. Another way would be to connect them to the body. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to add a primitive cube object to create a background behind the eyes. Let's go ahead and resize it to have a height of 2 millimeters. Uncheck uniform scale if it's checked and put a 2 in the Z field. Next, I'm going to resize the cube so that blocks out the entire background behind both eyes. I'll go ahead and fast forward through this part. Now we can spend more time blocking out different areas if we like, but I think it looks just fine the way it is. Since we're going to have a flat surface, I highly suggest turning on ironing. Click on Global, then the Quality tab. Change No Ironing to Top Surfaces. Depending on how you plan to use your print, you may want to bump up the infill walls and top shells. For my project, I'm going to just leave on the defaults. Now lastly, before we hit print, let's merge all the parts together. Hold Shift on the keyboard and drag a box around the entire object and right click on it. Click Merge. Alright, let's go ahead and slice it and send it to the printer. Before we hit print, let's go ahead and check the layers real quick. And that brings us to the end of this comprehensive Midjourney workflow and education tutorial. We've explored how to harness AI to generate incredible designs, navigated the new web interface, crafted effective prompts, and transformed those creations into 3D prints. I hope this video has sparked your creativity and given you the tools to elevate your 3D printing. The possibilities are endless, and I'm excited to hear how you've taken this knowledge and created projects of your own. Make sure to keep an eye out for the next follow-up video as I turn our simple 3D object into a tangible product to sell online. It's going to be awesome. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I have so much more content that I'm going to produce, and I've barely scratched the surface. If you have any questions or want to share your AI generated prints, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you and see the amazing creations. Again, thanks for joining me on this journey. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Have a great day and happy printing.